Alrighty, boys, we got it. Last but not least, the NFC South, the dumpster of the NFL. Oh, all of these teams suck. The Bucks are the best, and even they aren't all that good. Like, if we're being completely honest, they're not. Like, don't get me wrong, they're better than the other teams. They're gonna win the division, but they're not good. Just because you can beat up on the other shit teams in your division does not make you a good team. Just saying. Alright, we are going to get into this. We're going to look at all four of these teams' shitty-ass rosters. We're going to look at their schedules, starting off with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Now, if you are a Bucks fan, I hope you appreciate this cool-ass logo I found. Don't want to be tooting my own horn here, but it's pretty awesome. It's pretty fucking cool. I think it looks pretty badass. I don't know who made it, but I found it and I'm using it. Alright, let's get into their 53-man roster. They got Baker, who is healthy, which is fantastic. I've always been a big fan of Baker. He played his ass off for the Browns. He tried to play for the Panthers. He tried, but they suck. Bucky Irving, Sean Tucker, looks like Rashad White's hurt. Mike Evans, Godwin's going to be down for a couple weeks, but they got Tej Johnson, Sterling Shepard, Emeka Ibuka. The rookie is going to be coming out of the slot. They got a good O-line. Not a great O-line, but they got a good O-line. Looks like Tristan Wirfs might be a little banged up. We'll check their injuries before we get into their actual schedule and see what it's looking like. Over on the defense, they still got Jamal Dean, Antonio Winfield. They lost Carlton to the Patriots. That's going to hurt a little bit, but still got Levante David, so they still got a pretty good defense. They play pretty hard, pretty good special teams unit. Like I said, they're probably going to end up walking away with the division, but let's just double check. Cade Otton may not be available week 1. Tristan Wirfs passed his physical, so he'll probably be fine. Jalen McMillan is on IR right now, but he is designated to return, so he'll be back after a few weeks. He hurt his neck. He got some kind of surgery done. If I remember hearing that correctly, I think he had like a small procedure done. But let's get into this schedule here. At Atlanta, that's a win. At Houston for Monday Night Football. Yeah, they got the early game for week 2. That's going to be a loss, 1-1. At home against the Jets, that's a win. At home against Philly, that's a loss, 2-2. At Seattle, 3-2. At home for the 49ers. 4-2 at Detroit, 4-3 at New Orleans, 4-5 into the bye week. No. Hang on. 1-1, 2-2, 3-3. 4-4 going into the bye week. My bad. Bye week is week 9, so it couldn't be 4-5 going into the bye week. 4-4 going into the bye week. Week 10, they got the New England Patriots at home. They'll win that one, moving them to 5-4. Then they go to Buffalo. Yeah, they'll lose that one. 5-5. They'll beat the Rams to go to 6-5. They'll beat the Cardinals at home. Go to 7-5. They'll beat the New Orleans Saints to go to 8-5. They'll beat the Atlanta Falcons again to go to 9-5. Carolina twice to go to 11-5, and they will probably also beat Miami. So they might only win one against Carolina because they might not have to play anybody week 18 and finish 11-6. I will project them at 11-6. That's what I'm seeing looking at this easy ass schedule for them. Do not see a whole lot of power on their schedule. I mean, they got some tough games, but I don't see anything they can't beat. Like, they should be able to beat these teams. As long as they stay healthy and they get their players back as they go. Like, you add in Chris Godwin and McMillan to that offense as they keep going. Like, those guys are already part of the offense. You give Ibuka more time to get acclimated, get a bigger role, and then as those other guys come in, you can bring his role back a little bit, and he's had that time to develop, and it's just more smooth and seamless as we go. So I'm actually liking their season. I'm gonna have to check on their actual totals because I have two South teams that I might be taking the overs on before the season starts. You'll have to check back with me Thursday before the season actually begins, the pregame, and I will let you guys know. But I have two that I'll be checking on, and then the show pot will start at $300. I already have 180 into futures bets right now. 180 in futures bets and another 15 into bets for Thursday. So I have 195 in bets right now, active before the season. Right now. But that is it for the Buccos. On to the Atlanta Falcons. Nope, there we go. Atlanta. Probably not going to have a great year, but you never know. Penix could surprise me. Michael Penix could surprise me. Bijan, I mean, I think Bijan will have a pretty decent year. I'm not sure how well this line's going to do. It could do well, but not having Caleb and Gary is going to definitely be it's definitely a loss. A very high-priced right tackle who was on IR for the year. He's gone. That definitely does not help. And Michael Jarrell, whoever the fuck that is, starting a right tackle, does not leave me very confident for their passing game. And he will be Michael Penix's blindside blocker, this Michael Jarrell, because if you did not remember, Michael Penix is a lefty, so he will be throwing like this, which means the right side will be right over here behind him. So that could be potentially extremely problematic for Atlanta all season long. All season. On their defense, I mean, they got a decent secondary with A.J. Terrell and Jesse Bates. Their front four does not give me any kind of inkling that they're going to be anywhere close to decent. When Leonard Floyd is your best guy and your first round edge guy doesn't beat him out. And guys, you see this? I know Leonard Williams very fucking well. Very well. I watched him play a lot. If James Pierce Jr. couldn't beat him out, that does not bode well for James Pierce Jr. Sorry. But, I mean, you got a good kicker in Young Ho Koo. And again, with the new dynamic kickoff, it could be like only a couple first downs before they're in field goal range. But all right, let's get into the season here for them. Into the season here for Atlanta. Open up at home against Tampa Bay. They're going to lose. They go to Minnesota. They're going to lose. I think they'll beat Carolina. That's 1-2. They're going to lose to Washington, 1-3. Into their bye week, week 5. That is not good either. They're going to be beat up later in the season. Not good. They'll come out of that with a Monday night game against Buffalo. Fuck them. 1-4. Travel to San Francisco. 1-6. At home against Miami. 2-6. Go to New England. 2-7. At home against Indy. 3-7. At home against Carolina. 4-7. At New Orleans. 4-8. At New York Jets. 4-9. At home against Seattle. 5-9. At Tampa Bay. 5-10. At Arizona, 5-11. At home against the Rams, 5-12. And at home against the New Orleans Saints, 5-12. Yep. We'll give them that win. 6-11. We'll give them that one. 6 wins! Yay! Congratulations. You guys are gonna suck. You guys are gonna suck. Cool. Bet you guys feel happy with me, don't you, Falcons fans? All right, on to the Panthers. More cheeks this year. More fucking cheeks. Panthers are going to get fucking steamrolled. Fucking Bryce Young is ass. Although he did look better towards the end of last year, he's still ass. Until he proves differently, he's ass. Chuba Hubbard is your starting running back. Tedero McMillan is hurt. Awesome. Xavier Legette is fucking slow. Jatavion Sanders, that's decent. Ekwonu is hurt. Awesome. Damian Lewis is hurt. Even better. Let's look at their fucking defense. Anything on their defense that actually looks fucking good? I mean, they got J.C. Horn, DJ Wanham, Derek Brown. No. Christian Roseboom. Guys, I'm sorry, Panthers fans. If you would disagree with me, let me know down in the comments, but y'all are gonna be bad, man. At Jacksonville, loss. At Arizona, loss. At home against Atlanta, loss. At New England, loss. At home against Miami, hey, there's a win. At home against Dallas, you might get a win there, but I doubt it. 1-5. At the Jets, 1-6. At home against Buffalo, 1-7. At Green Bay, 1-8. At home against New Orleans, 2-8. At Atlanta, 2-9. At San Francisco, 2-10. At home against the Rams, 2-11 into the merciful bye. And who's your back? It doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. 2-11 going into the bye. Gross. At New Orleans, 2-12. At home against Tampa Bay, 2-13. At Seattle, 2-14. 3-14. Ooh. Oh. All right. One final team to go. One more. Last but not least, at least not in my eyes, the New Orleans Saints, who I happen to think will do better than this 5.5 win total that they've got. It's just my opinion. I happen to be a firm believer in Kellen Moore. I've liked him since he was the quarterback at Boise State. The blue field guys, Boise State. I liked him as a quarterback there. Like, he's always had the mind. He just didn't have the arm strength. When he was drafted, that's why he wasn't able to stick. Like, he couldn't get the ball there. Like, he knew the reads, he couldn't get the fucking ball there. Like, it fucking sucks. But what are you gonna do? All right. They named Spencer Rattler the starter for week 1. Whatever that's worth. I'm not impressed. I'd rather have Tyler Shuck out there. Alvin Kamara is the starting running back, although I heard he was also being shopped. And then they've got Kendre Miller, Devin Neal, and Velus Jones Jr. as their 4th running back. Awesome. Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, and Brandon Cooks as their wide receivers. That is a very good wide receiver room. They also have Mason Tipton, Trey Palmer, and Devon Vele. I really like their wide receiver room. I really think that Kellen Moore will do some fantastic scheme things with the amount of weapons that he's got here in New Orleans. And even though it's only Spencer Rattler, even he's going to find the broad side of a barn 6 out of 10 times. So even if it's only a 45% completion percentage because of those wide open passes, he's only hitting 60%. That's still 45%, which should still give them some decent yards. They do have a good line. Calvin Banks Jr., the rookie. Talib Ifuaga, both on the outside. Penning might not be good to go week 1, but they do have pretty decent depth behind him to cover up. I'm not sure how well that depth is going to do covering up for him because he is a pretty decent former first round pick, but we will see. And then on to the defense. It's always been good, but we'll see how it works without having Dennis Allen there. I got Chase Young, Mario Davis, Brian Breezy, Cameron Jordan, Carl Gradson, Julian Blackman on the backside, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Justin Reed, Isaac Yadam. Now, they should have a pretty decent defense. It's all going to depend on how the coaching works. And honestly, I'm not sure about the defensive coach there. Not sure. But we got to try and find them 5.5 wins. So let's get into the schedule here. Up first, they will host Arizona week 1. I believe I gave Arizona the win. I think so. So we'll say 0-1. Week 2, hosting San Francisco. 0-2 at Seattle. 1-2 at Buffalo. 1-3. Hosting the Giants. 2-3. Hosting the Patriots. 3-3 at Chicago. 3-4. Hosting the Tampa Bay Bucks. I will give them the win there to bring them back to 4-4 because they always play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hard. At the Rams, loss. 4-5. At Carolina, win. 5-5. Heading into the Week 11 bye. I really like that bye time for them. Give them a chance to get a week off and rest up for the home stretch of the season, where they host Atlanta out of the bye at 3 o'clock on Sunday. That'll be a winner. 6-5. At Miami, 7-5. At the Bucks, 7-6. At home against Carolina, 7-7. At home against the Jets, 8-7. At the Titans, 9-7. And at the Falcons, 9-8. 9-8. As long as the quarterback situation works itself out, I have them having a winning fucking season. Bucks are still going to walk away with the division, don't get me wrong. And they won't make the playoffs at 9-8. But very respectable season for Kellen Moore. Winning season for the first year of Kellen Moore's tenure. That would be something. All right. Well, that does it for all of the NFC teams, which brings us to an end of the league-wide roundup. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave me a like. Think about subscribing. I will have one more video coming out in the next, let's see, this is going to be coming out on Sunday night. So probably Monday at like noon, I'll probably have it scheduled to release where I do like a little recap of the win totals and how I actually did for coming out at 500 for the whole league. Like, so I already did the math for everything for the AFC. Now I got to do the math for the NFC, and then I'll do a show where I actually go over my numbers and how it would shake up if my numbers worked and how far off I am from actually hitting 500 for everybody. Because that's how it works. Everybody's got to hit 500. So, yeah. I will see you for one more before we hit preseason on Thursday. I hope you join me for that. It should be a blast. And then the season's off and running, and I'll be here a lot. Just come see me. Later, guys.